Today we are going to weave candlesticks. I would like to call this tutorial Creating a Romantic Mood. Once I was asked to weave a white candlestick for a wedding photo shoot, and it had to look like this. I have done, but I don't really like it. There is nothing special about this kind of shape. So consequently, I've decided to get to know the subject deeper, which has resulted in experiences like this. Today I would like to share them with you. I will tell you what conclusions I have made while weaving the candlesticks like this, which ideas I have liked more than the other ones, all the peculiarities associated with weaving candlesticks. So first of all, I believe that the candlesticks have to be secure. That's why each of them has a glass container inside. These are different kinds of cans. I tried to pick them as short as I could. This one is the shortest. Why? Because otherwise it would be inconvenient to light a candle. One has to light a candle at first and only after that to put it inside, carefully. So the shorter the candlestick is, the easier it is to light a candle. In the shortest one, you can even light a candle inside. At first I have made use of all the cans I had at home. Then I decided to experiment with shapes. So I bought wide glasses like these two identical ones, and the narrower ones. Unfortunately, I cannot take it outside because I have varnished it already, but you can see it. As well as desert bowls. Before starting to weave a candlestick, I would like to propose you to determine what exactly you want from it. Whether you would like a diffused light with quaint pattern, or you prefer more light. After we have tried all of these candlesticks in action, my daughter, for example, likes this one most of all. It doesn't produce much light, but it looks rather effective. There is not much light getting through the grating pattern, but the pattern turns out rather interesting. Zigzag. We do have a tutorial on this kind of pattern, so you can apply it while weaving a candlestick like this. If you need more light, I would recommend you either side grates with thick ups and bottoms and open center giving much light, or as an alternative such exotic interlacings. They let more light through. So today I would propose you to focus on two types of candlesticks like these. One more thing I'd like to add before starting. What kind of tubes we have to use? In this case, thin and soft tubes are required. The standard ones do not match because they make the article a bit rough. The articles are small, so you need very thin tubes. I have rolled them around such a thin knitting needle. For these particular tubes, I have used the paper, which is rather unusual. It is commonly used for placing between the metal leaves. It used to be called cigarette paper. I needed white paper, and because it was the only white paper I had, so I have rolled the tubes of this paper. I have to warn you beforehand that it is not very easy to weave with this paper. Newspapers are much better for weaving, but because my task was to get white tubes, I had no choice. As well, I'd like to draw your attention to the holders. I have tried making holders of different types. For some candlesticks, flower petals are good as holders. For this one, I have woven a kind of cane and have used small carabiners. The holders for candlesticks mustn't be right above the fire. That's why they have to be either fallen to the side or like this. the ones that do not interfere with fire. Because, as I have already mentioned, security is the first requirement in this case. That's why we have glass inside and a holder from one side. As well, I have experimented with such a chain, such a flexible holder. Actually, the fire is not big here, so if the holder was a little longer, one could hang it up. At least for carrying it is quite sufficient. I'm going to show you how to weave a holder like this as well. So, the first candlestick will be like this. For the beginners, I'm going to show how to make interlaces like this. It is very fast and simple. It is a dessert bowl. I have woven a regular round bottom, woven the form around, and have reached the level from where I am going to start this graded pattern. What I do? First of all, I make the tube soft and flexible. After which I interlace them in couples. I take a couple of tubes, place the right tube onto the left one, and fix them with a clothespin so far. Take the next couple, the right tube onto the left one, under the following couple, and fix these three. Again, the right tube onto the left one, under the nearby couple, and fix with a clothespin. And this way we continue. The right tube onto the left one, under the following couple, and fix. We have reached the end of the row. The right tube onto the left one, under the following couple, fix. Now look. How many rows of interlacing you need, it is up to you. You can add one extra interlacing row if we bend the poles a little. So look. The right tube onto the left one, under the following one, and onto the next one. Look, onto the left one, under the next tube, and onto the next one again. So, if you bend the poles, we make an additional row of interlacings. I have tried both variants. It is up to you. If one row of interlacing is enough for you, you can leave it like this, but I believe this way it looks more decorative. You can make 2 rows at once, but I prefer doing it in 2 stages like this. For me it is easier this way. Our task is to make the last interlacing a little lower than the edge of the article, because we still need to twine the edge round and to fix the poles. This way, finishing and adjusting our interlaces. Try to keep the intervals between the poles and between the clothespins equal. This way we form the interlacing. The next stage is fixing the poles and interlacing the top. A regular rope. You see, I have added a tube and weave using the technique of a regular rope, setting the tubes free gradually. I try to keep it at one level from the top of the article. Two or 3 rows after, or actually you can already start, pull in the tubes a little tighter. This very moment is a bit difficult, but actually is not too hard. The next rows will be easier. Now we will lengthen the last tube and finish weaving. While weaving the second and the third row, I tried tightening the tubes in order to make the pattern more or less even. It is a bit inconvenient to weave because my tubes are not identical. I haven't managed to cut the paper sheet I had into identical stripes, so the tubes I have got are of different thickness and of different rigidness. So I have to try to adjust to this peculiarity. On the other hand, the tubes pull well, they don't break, it is their advantage. So I finish weaving the last row. While weaving candlesticks, I try to avoid paper sticking outside the glass edge. So the height of the article is identical to the height of the glass form, in most cases at least. That's why I'm finishing the last row. Actually, the length of my tubes allow me to make some simple kind of edging, but in most cases I have just dropped some glue and cut the remainders. It seems to me that in our case the edging is excessive. I have tried both ways, but it seems to me that in our case the article with no edging looks more natural. But it is up to you to decide what you prefer. So, we weave up to the end, drop glue into the bottom of every pole, and then, when it is still half dry, I cut every pole at the base.